This is a toque. It's a baby toque, but it's a toque. Panther people, what up? What's going on? You're watching Panthers Post. I'm Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. If you're new here, and there's been a couple of you last couple of days, firstly, thank you for clicking the sub button. Thank you for liking. Thank you for watching. Thank you for entering your views and predictions in the comment community. It is a beautiful place. I feel like I gotta play like Britney Spears Toxic for some reason, because I think there's just some, obviously 3 losses in a row would be, it makes sense. It justifies the feelings, but just the online community right now around this team is pretty toxic. People are blaming everybody. People want Matt Rule out. People want Joe Brady out. People want Christian McCaffrey out. People want Sam out. People want Teddy back. People want Cam back. People want Robbie out. It's what do we want? What's going on? So we need to laugh. We need to laugh. We need to smile. You got to laugh to keep from crying, right? So check this out. This is what it would look like. This is Chuba Hubbard, who's from Edmonton. And I'll admit, Edmonton, Alberta gets freaking cold. I'm talking like minus 40 degrees Celsius. Maybe in his biological clock, born and raised in Edmonton, he thinks, oh, it's sweater weather right now. I need a pumpkin spice latte. So this is what it looks like when you drop a Canadian into the South in a Southern style autumn.
I shouldn't have wore this. I'm dripping. I was thinking about this before I came. I'm dripping. Like, I just showered. I'm going to have to shower again. I'm hot. I just got out the sauna. I got a toque on too, or beanie, using Canadian terms. I'm really sweating. Can I get it?
And I know there's those people out there. The second the leaves start changing color, they're like, oh, forget you shorts. I'm putting on long pants. I'm putting on wool socks. I'm getting my Bloodstones on. I'm putting on the flannel. I'm putting on the toque. Mind you, a toque in Canada is this. This is a toque. It's a baby toque, but it's a toque. In America, I think you guys call it a beanie. I like the casual Canadiana that he dropped there. But there's those people who are just committed. Why am I so chipper? Why? Because it's just another week. It's week 7. We don't have to talk about the Eagles game. We don't have to talk about the Vikings game anymore. Let's just talk about the New York Giants returning back to the Meadowlands for one Sam Darnold. Also reuniting with our former general manager, Dave Gettleman. We're going to see him. I'm sure we're going to get a couple one-shots of him during the Fox broadcast. But we're going to talk about that game a little bit later in the show. But first, some news and notes, and woo! A lot to talk about. If you're like me and you're channel flipping or double screening on several sporting events from the Dodgers, Braves, in my case, Toronto Raptors and Washington Wizards, or for those out there who, just love college football, Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina, you may have missed this, but last night on The Athletic, Jeff Howe and Aaron Reese dropped somewhat of a bomb. It was like a feeler bomb, trying to see, what the temperature is right now with one number 4, Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans. And what they were saying in this article was that the Texans are still very much shopping Deshaun Watson, and that they have been talking with the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles, and your Carolina Panthers. Now, they did put a caveat over all this. They say normally when news like this makes the airwaves, makes it into articles, makes them, I'm sure, on talking head shows like this, and also, on mainstream networks, they're trying to, draw up some interest in that trade asset. But they also mentioned that whether the talks are very serious, as in actual trade proposals were happening, and, assets were being moved around and talked about, money was moved around and talked about, or it was just something casual. But the fact that they even mentioned the Carolina Panthers, because there were a couple articles before this saying it's the Miami Dolphins, that's it. I saw Adam Schefter say yesterday that Deshaun Watson will want to go to Miami to play with the Dolphins, because right now they're arguably one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL right now. 10-win team last year. It doesn't look like they're going to reach that at this point with the people that they have in the building, primarily Tua Tagovailoa and Jacoby Brissett. But the fact that they even mentioned the Carolina Panthers, and, we know Scott Fitterer in on every deal, and we know that people have been talking about, Clemson quarterback, play South Carolina, let's go, bring him in. He's from Georgia, not too far away from the rest of his family, which I'm sure at this point of his life he might want his family around. But there is that juxtaposition that fans will find themselves in, the fact that he has several sexual assault, sexual misconduct reported on him to the Houston police from several different women. The NFL is still investigating this. Nothing has happened yet. They are definitely taking their time. Normally when the NFL finds themselves in a situation, they put them on the commissioner exempt list. Guy's not eligible to play football. It seems like whoever does trade for Deshaun Watson and Deshaun Watson wants to go there, he will be able to suit up. So it's more like a gut check situation. He's not guilty of anything. He is accused of several heinous crimes right now. He is allowed to play football. So in the Carolina Panthers right now, where we are in the journey of this team. Yes, the defense is good. It has been exposed a little bit, but it doesn't help that the offense doesn't really give them any breaks. The offense, if you want to put in an MVP type candidate in Deshaun Watson, behind that line, without Christian McCaffrey right now, Christian McCaffrey might not even be on the team if you do trade for Deshaun Watson. So he's not going to have him. So remember, CMC is the identity of this team, especially with what Matt Rule said a couple days ago. So is Deshaun Watson the right player at the right time for this team? Is this team ready to take that next step to house that elite MVP style quarterback and keep them upright, keep them healthy, keep them happy, but also get wins, like big wins? I'm not talking like, win the division. I'm talking win the division, win the Super Bowl type thing. Is this team ready for that? As we talked about in previous shows, I still feel like the defense is elite with a lowercase e, and by the time they get to a uppercase E elite and the offense gets up maybe to like, a minus, B plus type range, that's when you drop in the veteran quarterback a la Aaron Rodgers, who could be seeing his last days in Green Bay, even though they're doing pretty well right now. You get an Aaron Rodgers, or maybe Joe Burrow is sick of Cincinnati and he doesn't want to stay there anymore. And then he reunites with Joe Brady if Joe Brady is still the OC. But is Deshaun Watson right now in 2021, 2022 the right guy for is he the right level of quarterback for right now? And then we had the idea of talking about tractor versus trailer. Sam Darnold showing us and the rest of the league that he is a trailer. He is getting pulled by the rest of the team. And Deshaun Watson, as we saw what he did last year with a crappy Houston Texans team, he is a tractor. He carries the team. Cam Newton, for basically his entire career on the offensive side, carried the team. He was the focal point. So maybe this team is ready. If you were to just drop in the right person like Deshaun Watson, who, assuming he is mentally there to play football right now at a high level, he could have the Panthers, rebound for the rest of the season and then surprise people in the playoffs as a wild card. Maybe. But then there's the personal side of all this and the legal side behind all this. Could you do the mirror check? Could you look yourself in the mirror and be like, I will buy a Deshaun Watson jersey and I will wear that in public? That's basically what it is, because he's going to wear the Panthers stuff. Panthers are paying him. Would you then pay money to the Panthers and to Deshaun Watson to rep him on your back in public, knowing what he's being accused of right now? He's innocent until proven guilty. We don't know when this is going to be resolved. We have no idea how this is going to turn out. But at the end of the day, he's available. He could play. Would you want him on the team? Let me know in the comments below. This next piece isn't really news, but it is a note with people talking about the Carolina Panthers still searching for that franchise quarterback. There are some out there in the Twitter sphere pointing out the fact that one Cam Newton, 2015 MVP Super Bowl finalist, is still available. And the fact that the Seattle Seahawks, who are basically Carolina Panthers Pacific Northwest, are speaking with Killer Cam right now to probably fill in for Russell Wilson, who dislocated and broke his finger. I don't know why the broadcast kept showing it. So there are people out there who are saying Cam Newton, who is double vaccinated and wants to play, by the way, one of his best fits is with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger clearly regressing on his last legs, literally his last legs, but he has a pretty good supporting cast around him. Defense is good. You got a rookie running back in Najee Harris. You also got my guy Claypool out of Canada, BC. What up? Abbotsford, shout out. So he's got the pieces out there to succeed as well. But there's also those who say that he's also a great fit for what we're doing in Carolina. But then you just got to put egos aside. Cam's ego and Matt Rule's ego. I'm not even saying Dave Tepper, because Dave Tepper is the owner, yes. But Matt Rule is the one who showed up to Charlotte, and then one of his first moves was to let Cam go, to seek a trade. So would that happen? Would you want to see Cam Newton back? This happens all the time. And I know I talk about soccer a lot. I don't know if you guys are big into soccer or watching this. Charlotte just got an MLS team. But Gareth Bale, who was a superstar for the Tottenham Hotspur and English Premier League, left, was sold to Real Madrid, and then he came back for a year, 1 year with Tottenham Hotspur, and they sold jerseys galore. He was one of the top 3 scorers on the team. People embraced him. He was happy to be there. And mind you, he did leave, win a ton of trophies, and then came back because he had really nothing to prove. But he just wanted to continue to play football, European football. Cam hasn't won anything. He had his stint in New England. They let him go because according to Cam, he's too much of a distraction because of who he is, his personality. Y'all got to remember, while Cam nostalgically, emotionally would be great to come back to Charlotte and wear the Carolina blue, black, and silver, and sometimes white. But remember, before he was basically shipped out of Bank of America Stadium, he couldn't throw. His shoulder was toast. He couldn't chuck it for more than 30 yards. They had to put in Jake Allen or Allen, whatever the hell that guy's name is. Is he in the league anymore? But they had to throw him in to chuck deep bombs, man. And so he's not the most accurate. There was that 1 year when things were going well, but then he had the shoulder stuff, and then he had the foot stuff. And so having him come back, would it be kind of sad? Cam Newton with the New England Patriots, who, mind you, were not good. A lot of holdouts because of COVID. He went 7-8, completion percentage of 65.8, over 2,600 yards, 8 touchdown passing, 10 interceptions, QBR of 47. Sam Darnold in 2020 with the New York Jets, he had 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, air yards per attempt 5.2, yards per attempt 6.1, 2,200 yards in the air as well, 59.6% completion percentage, QBR 40. All right. Not the best. Is he a good fit for the team football-wise? I don't know. Is he a good fit for the team economically? Hell yes. You're going to sell jerseys. You're going to sell t-shirts. You're going to sell tickets. You're going to sell TV viewership because people are going to want to watch Cam Newton return. It's going to be a talking point. The Panthers are going to be relevant again, regardless of their record, because Cam Newton is back. So what do you want? Do you want a team that is a business, or do you want a team that is a good football team? All right, let's talk about the players who are actually on the team. Stephon Gilmore, the prize trade acquisition for the New England Patriots, 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, finally practicing with his Panther teammates. He's going to be rocking number 9. I don't know the reasoning behind it. He didn't talk to the media. Number 9 for a corner is interesting. I'd take number 10. Number 10 could be cool. But his wife, who is a great follow on Twitter, says that once she gets the jerseys, she's me giving out a stack of number 9 Carolina Panther Gilmore jerseys. That's pretty cool. Coach Rule said that they're not going to rush him. They said it's a process. It's the first time he's been with the actual team doing football movements. He's been working out on his own. He was on the physically unable to perform list with a quad injury, but he actually could be very well good to go, like 110% to take on the Giants this Sunday. But Matt Rule kind of pumped the brakes on that, saying that they're going to have potentially on a pitch count. They're going to not rush this right now, especially at 31 years old. It's not old, but it's also not, a 21-year-old type situation. So they're going to take their time. So I could see him maybe sharing in some reps, doing his thing. Because right now the defensive backfield of the Panthers, albeit without guys like J.C. Horn, Justin Burris, and company, they're doing pretty well. Keith Taylor right now, there's a reason why he's on my thumbnail. He's been a dog. He's been great. He's so passionate. He plays with so much tenacity. He's such a menace to the wide receivers. I think that one touchdown from Adam Thielen against him was a bit of a fluke. That was just a great play. Great pitch and catch for Thielen, as well as Kirk Cousins. I did like that. It was great. It was accurate. But I think Keith Taylor is definitely somebody who is surprising me, and I think he's doing a great job filling in for J.C. Horn. So if you guys haven't heard yet, Matt Rule kind of, sort of, indirectly throwing both his offensive coordinator, who was the passing game coordinator with Louisiana State University when they won the national championship, as well as Sam Darnold, by saying this about the Carolina Panthers' identity going into the rest of the year.
You'll see a vastly different look from us moving forward. We're not going to line up and drop back and throw it 40 times a game and think that that's going to win the game for us. It hasn't. And so, there's no McCaffrey. Well, Chuba's showing us that he can run the football at a high level when given enough opportunities. So we're gonna redefine who we are, and we're going to run the football, and we're going to protect our quarterback, and we're not going to turn the ball over anymore. And that's the only way that we're going to win.
That is kind of good news if you are a Canadian football fan and you like guys like Chuba Hubbard, and there's a reason why you start a vlog because you have a Canadian who could potentially suit up for your team in Chuba Hubbard. And he has been doing all right. He had over a 100-yard game against the Eagles. He wasn't given enough touches against the Minnesota Vikings. He had just over 60, but he did have a touchdown. So I think this is great news for him. All I got to say is for Chuba that maybe run a little bit lower. Maybe stop letting the first guy who touches you get you down, man. I also think it's good news for Royce Freeman. I think Royce Freeman could be used a lot more. I think he's a big, chunky running back, and he can run between the tackles just as well as Christian McCaffrey, but he just gives him the 1-2 punch. He can catch. That's something that Chuba Hubbard definitely, and he's even mentioned it, he needs to work on it. When he goes back home, his girlfriend throws tennis balls at him. He's using the jugs machine at practice, just working on the hands. And even the running backs coach said that during practice he's got great hands. So maybe it's a thing during the game. He knows the second he catches that ball, he's going to get contact. And as I just mentioned, the dude lets the first guy and a half bring him down. You got to let somebody miss or use some power. And that's where Royce Freeman comes in. I think that they could be that 1-2 punch. They are similar in terms of, at least in game speed, they look both kind of fast. But Royce has got a little bit of that, that little bit of Derrick Henry-ness in him. Not saying he is Derrick Henry, but he is a more punishing runner than Chuba Hubbard is. And if you're going to be running against a Giants defense, which has let up a ton of yardage in the last couple of games, specifically against the LA Rams and Darren Henderson, I think that 1-2 punch of Chuba Hubbard and Royce Freeman, it's a good match up. And there's also a great reason why you have to commit to the run, because the wide receiver room, which was freaking rammed with talent, is now rammed with injuries. First of all, you got Brandon Zylstra, who I thought that he was kind of also, in an odd way, a security blanket for Sam Darnold. They do find some nice connections during the game. Alex Erickson, who was doing a pretty good job in kick return and punt return, has a concussion. Terrace Marshall Jr., who got laid out in the Minnesota game, also has a concussion. So you got three pretty key wide receivers who are down for the Panthers. So that leaves us with Robbie Anderson, who has to have a big game this week at the Meadowlands. He says he holds himself accountable to be excellent, to have the highest tier of performance on the field and off the field. He's got to show it when he returns to the Meadowlands, albeit taking on the Giants. He needs to step up. DJ Moore is going to shake off that weird game last week when he fumbled and just wasn't himself, dropping passes and such. So you got those two. And then you got Shi Smith, who, if you guys watched my draft show, that I was hyped when they picked up Shi Smith. I loved what he did during the Senior Bowl. I think he runs hard. I think he makes tough catches, which is something that this team needs someone to do, especially after last week. To me, I know DJ Moore's kind of got that body type of Steve Smith, but Shi Smith reminds me of the Steve Smith just with his stature, tenacity, how he runs routes, how he makes tough catches, how he's a tough guy. I think last week he had a really great run during the, I think it was a jet sweep in the red zone, one of the first plays of the game. I think his first start as an NFL wide receiver, to execute that, to read your blocks, not overthink it, and then just run upfield. And I thought he was definitely going to get into the end zone. But I think they could definitely mold him to be a really big part of this offense, especially if they do let Robbie go at some point. And then you're going to have the wide receiver core of DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, and Shi Smith. I think that's pretty dangerous. Giants preview. This is not a good team, but guess what? The Panthers haven't been a good team in the last 3 games either. They may have also been a little bit overhyped thanks to their schedule in the first 3 games. I still believe in our team. I still feel they're going to make the wild card. But even Dante Jackson said, and we also have to adopt this as well, that the Panthers are not in a position to overlook anybody right now. So, the Giants have a ton of injuries though, like a gajillion injuries. Let me just read off who is not going to be suiting up for the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley, bust. Kenny Golladay, not going down. Kadarius Toney, the rookie out of Florida. He is a matchup nightmare. You can't hold on to him. Not playing. Danny Shelton, gigantic defensive lineman. He's out with a pec injury. Darius Slayton, wide receiver, hamstring. The Caden Smith, tight end, out of knee. John Ross, wide receiver, super fast, kind of useless. He's out with a hammy. Azeez Ojulari, linebacker, not injury related, so personal. Hopefully that gets resolved. They have a ton of injuries, as do the Carolina Panthers. But I think the guys who are still available on the Panthers, both on the offensive and defensive side, is going to be enough to get the dub. I think Derek Brown, Daquan Jones, Morgan Fox, just Brian Burns, everybody, they're going to eat right now. Saquon Barkley, who hasn't really been doing that much so far in his career, is out. Devontae Booker, I think they're going to gobble him up. He couldn't really run too much on the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Panthers are going to gobble him up. They're going to dare Daniel Jones to throw, and I think they're going to make him pay. And on the flip side, I think their defense is going to try to do the same thing. They're going to try to shut down our run game, but our offensive line has been better in the run than they did in the pass. But they're going to try to shut that down and then dare Sam Darnold in his return to the Meadowlands to pass and see if he can have a repeat performance that he's had in the past 3 games. And that's having 1 million interceptions and fumbles. So as long as the Panthers actually commit to the run, they bring in Tommy Tremble to help chip and try to give some support to Chuba and Royce. I think it's going to be a good result. I think Chuba's going to get a touchdown, at least one. Maybe even Sam Darnold returns into the end zone as well. Maybe a red zone rushing touchdown. I think the wide receivers are going to come out big. I think Robbie's finally going to shake all that off. DJ is going to rebound at the right time. Shi Smith is going to have a big impact play as well. And I think the Panthers are going to win. I think they're going to win 26. They still haven't hit 30 yet, but I think they're going to win 26-12 and move to 4-3, get the good vibes going as they head over to the Mercedes Dome where they have Chick-fil-A and it's not open on a Sunday, and they're going to finally beat the Falcons in Atlanta, and it's just going to be good vibes altogether. They're going to welcome in Christian McCaffrey at the right time where he's going to be 110% healthy against the New England Patriots at home. It's going to be great. And Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback? No. Yeah. So that's what I think. I do appreciate you guys watching. We're going to have the reaction vlog right after the game against the Giants. Panthers are winning, people. I'm not even saying the L word right now. Panthers are going to win. We're going to feel good. Toxicity out the window. We're going to get a detox in New York and the Upper East Side. Overpay for it, and it's going to be a good feeling. Okay? Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe. If you're brand new here, spread the word. Let me know how you feel about this week and the next coming weeks. Do you want Deshaun Watson as a Carolina Panther? Do you want Cam Newton back? Let me know. And also follow us on Twitter at Panthers Post #1. See you on Sunday.